There was a video surfaced of a California sheriff by the name of Donnie Youngblood. Now, he was speaking to a group of people that he was trying to get their endorsement back in 2006. And in this video, he is stating that it is better to kill suspects than wound them. And he's going to explain why. Let's roll that clip.
I think that detention deputies receive more training probably today than a deputy sheriff ever did when he worked in jail. If that's what you're asking.
Period.
Period.
Even in operation.
Absolutely, yes. And there's a good reason for that. Millions and millions of dollars. You don't see the loss. You know what happens when a guy makes a bad shooting on somebody and kills him? $3 million, the family goes away after a long back and forth and back and forth. When it happens in corrections, it's a totally different ballgame. If you stack on top of that an inmate that's in restraint, if you tack on top of that the number of officers that may or may not be involved, if you tack on top of that the setting that you're in, that is absolutely huge. It's no different than when a deputy shoots someone on the streets. Which way do you think is better financially? To cripple them or kill them for the county? Absolutely. Because if you cripple them, you got to take care of them for life. And that cost goes way up. And the same thing happens to a death that occurs in corrections. And I don't know this for a fact, but I'll bet you since the incident occurred, every time an inmate dies and their news video wants them to go, they're all over it.
Yes, you heard them saying that it is better to kill you than to wound you. Now, that's a violation of your due process. It's a violation just of human rights. And this is the attitude of law enforcement in America. And look at all the videos that come out. They are so quick to kill. They don't want to try to restrain. They don't want to try to get help. They don't want to use non-lethal ways of taking people down. They just want to kill and then say they were afraid of their life. And you see, this guy said this in 2006, but this is the attitude and everything that we see today. He said, oh, well, just kill them, and then they'll get $3 million, and then their family will go away. I mean, you see, it's a system, ladies and gentlemen, that how this is set up. It's not just this one sheriff's department that's this way. It's the whole law enforcement here in America. It protects them so much that they could murder you wholesale and nothing happens to them. They say, oh, it's justified. We have afraid of our lives. So, yes, we can kill you automatically. I mean, this is the system that's set up to murder American citizens. Now, when they talk about other countries and say, oh, this one is killing their own people and that one's killing their own people. Well, what do you think murdering citizens at the hands of the police is? That's killing your own people. We're supposed to have a so-called justice system, which is definitely rigged against black people. But we have a so-called justice system. You're supposed to have your day in courts where you could defend yourself. But you're not getting to court when you have sheriffs like this guy telling the cops, hey, go ahead and kill them. They in the city, get them paid off. Don't worry about it. Now you wonder why so many citizens are killed every year. And now, as black people, top that with white supremacy and racism, which is going to heighten and have a itchiness within them to kill one of us, especially black men. They get enjoyment out of killing black men. Then on top of that, it's a free kill for them if they catch you in the commission of a crime or some other person's with you. They have a lot of these accomplice laws where if you and a guy was breaking in a home and they killed you, they can charge the other guy that had nothing to do with it with your murder, even though the police is the one that killed you. They'll say it's justified, and the other guy would get charged with murder and get time for that. I mean, this system is so screwed up and set against the citizens and especially black men. This is why you have cops shooting people 20 times in the backyard and just saying gun, and they don't go to jail or anything when they find out, oh, shoot, they didn't have nothing. You have to think about that. How is America a civilized nation and you can kill your citizens and you constantly keep finding them unarmed and nothing happens to the cops? And the people, mostly Caucasian white people, go into grand juries and say, oh, yeah, it was justified. because they want to definitely protect the enforcement wing of white supremacy. See, America is no better than anybody else because in other nations, they cops don't kill the citizens like they do in this country. Many nations, if you just start doing the research on how many times citizens are killed by the police, it is not as often as this nation. When you have a group of people who's given a badge, they only go through the police academy, at the most 6 months, and now they're running around talking about they're going to enforce the law and they can just kill people. A lot of them aren't mentally fit, a lot of them, especially with time. You have stories about them sexually assaulting men and women. It happens in prison. It happens in county jails. You have a lot of corruption going on in that criminal justice system. And you heard one of them say that kill people because they'll get a payout. And then you heard the other ones in the background agreeing with it, wasn't sickened by it or anything. This is why, especially as black people, you get PTSD when you see some lights behind you because you're like, I don't want to die today. I want to see my kids. I want to see my wife. I want to see everybody. This is a constant reminder every day of what we go through in this nation. How many times you seen police videos, they just killing people left and right. This guy is telling you why. And I'm glad he said this because the American public need to know how these people think. And especially black folks, we already know based on the results. But also what they do, they plant evidence. This is why you don't let them search a vehicle for no reason. They plant guns. They do all this sort of thing because how they get their promotions a certain amount of arrest and the type of arrest they're getting. So they try to pick on black people, say, let me plant this dope on black people so I get a narcotics arrest. Let me plant this gun on this black person so we can get this illegal gun arrest so I can scale up the ranks and get my promotions on planting stuff on black people. And then now you got this black man and locked up for a gun or drugs that he had nothing to do with, but yet they got their little promotion. I mean, this whole setup is based upon evil. It really is. There's nothing righteous about it. This is why the judgment of God has to come. It has to, which is, it's already started. And most of you who have a spiritual eye and ear, you can see and hear all of it already. But it's just sick. And the thing is that we live in a time of information, which is the great thing. And in the information age, there's no reason for your ears to be closed and your eyes to be closed. Now, this same guy's sheriff's department in 2015, they had less than 900,000 residents in what he covers. And you had 13 people that was killed by the police. Now, in that same year in New York City, a city of over 8 million people, they had 9 shootings by police killing citizens. So how is it you killing more citizens where this guy is at versus New York City, when you have millions upon millions of people? And when I was over there, the cops are everywhere, okay? And yet people aren't getting killed like that. When the cops probably should be more jumpy because all these strange people running around. You got people with mental illness all over the streets. I've seen that too over there in New York, and yet people aren't getting killed like that. Now, this guy's department was called one of the deadliest police departments in America in 2015. But when you're putting out messages like this, that it's better to kill a citizen and the city's going to pay. See, what I understand about the taxpayers is, why aren't you complaining and pissed off that your millions of dollars are going to families constantly? I never understand that, but I do understand it. In the system of racism and white supremacy, we have to protect the enforcement wing of white supremacy, and we're going to have to pay out families to keep that system going, because common sense would say, okay, why is it we're paying millions of dollars to these families and this guy still has his job or this woman still has her job? Why is it keeps happening? Those millions of dollars could be put into education, infrastructure projects, etc., right? Not just paying a family off because this cop murdered this citizen. I'm saying it doesn't make sense, but most people in this country are not trying to make sense of anything. They just want to stay comfortable in racism, white supremacy. But this is why we have police killings. This guy just exposed it basically and said it. I'm not mad at him for saying this because we see this just how it is. Nothing's going to change with it. They're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep saying they're afraid of their life. And the majority of people, and we know who they are going to keep supporting them. until they get to the point they start doing it to them. Then all of a sudden it's gonna be a problem, but it's gonna be too late at that point because they've been killing so long. I mean, it's not like you're gonna stop them. They train them as soon as they get in there to fear black people, to hate black people. I've been told this by behind the scenes by many police officers. They don't want to come out publicly and say it, but they tell me behind the scenes they are taught in police academy to fear black people. And when you have fear, then this guy says better to kill them. Racism as well. It's just a recipe for just disaster for the general public. But this guy, Donnie Youngblood is his name, in Kern County. This guy, like I say, he's sick, but like I said, he's only just representing the entity of law enforcement. And don't come here telling me all of us aren't that way. And like, look, if all of you aren't that way, then get rid of the people that are is that way. That way they can stop making your profession look so bad, because that is not a profession that you can accept, quote unquote, bad apples. I hate that, but you know what they say, bad apples spoil the bunch. But leave me a comment, let me know what you think about this particular sheriff and him just exposing the standard operating procedure of law enforcement just to kill citizens, and it'd be okay because you could just pay them off and then they'll go away.